Hi, Brian here at the Angels Model Railways. Basically, I've been working on the design for the HO scale logging layout. Been busy through January and whatnot, so a little bit longer in getting an update out, but also down to the fact that I've pondered between two designs. One design is a kind of standard, what you would imagine as the so far I've designed an end-to-end switching layout. As I said, I want to go along the lines of a diorama, put a lot of fine detail in it, and experiment and try a lot of new techniques. There's many modelers out there that have YouTube channels that put up excellent uploads on various techniques of how they model specific things on their railroads, railways. The list could go on forever. Now, the one thing that I just had to move something there because it was sitting on the tracks. You get kind of fussy like that, don't you? But sometimes I feel that I also want to experiment with some of my own techniques and how to create things. I mean, there's only so many ways you can skin a cat, as they say, and it's about perfecting techniques and finding your own way to do it. Certainly looking forward to a lot of the scenic details that I want to put into this HO logging layout. Just now I've got the 2662 articulated logging logo on here just to give it a little run up and down and to keep whetting my appetite and inspire me for the layout that I'm designing. Now, as I said, the end-to-end one, I've tried to include the logging lumber mill from Walthers. It's actually quite large, that structure itself. There are outbuildings that go with it, but there isn't enough room in this space to include them also. So I'm going to build that and utilise that in some way in one of the plans. Now, the other plan I've got would exclude that particular lumber mill, which would eventually be used on the larger layout when I do have the space and the time to do it. But the idea is basically borrowed from our man at Budget Model Railways, Mike. He's a great exponent of putting a lot in a small space and actually making roundies work. Now, I know in the very initial plan I had a 009 running on the outside, which I quickly dismissed. Too much would be going on there and a lot of the construction for that would take a lot longer, and I don't want to spend too much time working on something that I then would later regret initially doing. So a lot of good feedback from folk about the 009 running on this on the outside, and it wasn't a great idea. But it also then put me onto the idea of, well, this articulated loco is probably about the longest one that I'm going to run as far as the length of the chassis go, with two 6 wheels bogies that are running round, and I want to see what sort of radius I can get that round. And one of the ideas that I've had is possibly doing a roundy design and fitting it in this space, making it a little bit wider, pulling it out an extra 100mm or so, and using flex track to create the curves that hopefully aren't too tight. I'll be popping up an idea of that now, including now. You'll see that in that design there's room for other industries and to do a bit of shunting, include the Inglenook, an engine shed, and basically, as I said, I'm looking to get the detail done and make it diorama-esque, but I'm also really keen on the fact that I could just let a loco run and let it run round in a loop. So I'm basically waiting until I get the Shay from KR Models prior to actually maybe doing a track plan like that, because once I get the materials, I get the wood down, then I'll tack out the curves and power it all up and see what locos can run round those curves. If they can, and it proves that it could be successful in doing that, then I certainly will seriously consider that. It's maybe a little bit of a faux pas in the shelf layout world, we're predominantly end-to-end rules. But rule one, Smart Railway, it's something I would like to do, like to try, and Mike at Budget Model Railways has great success at doing that, putting in small looped layouts with larger locals running around them and kind of proving a lot of the radius, minimum radius that manufacturers advise you on with new locomotives, well, any locomotive, that sometimes he's found that they can run on a tighter radius, pulling stock and whatnot. So it's something to consider. I'm still keen on doing a layout with the lumber mill and its full size and an end to end. So it's not to rule one or the other out. I'm just curious if I can do a roundie in this space available. Now what am I waving about in my hand are these. These are the Code 83 Pico track point templates that you can download from the Pico site. It's SL8351 and SL8352, or the other way around. But these have been used. I'll stick a picture up just now where on my kitchen floor I've actually kind of laid out the end-to-end point setup, which is inspired and influenced by an excellent track designer from one of their Facebook groups called Rob Chant. He's a superb layout designer, especially for small spaces. And I saw one of his ideas and thought that's actually would work. I think it actually might have came from one of his logging designs. I've adapted it and tweaked it to kind of suit my own purposes, but it certainly was a great design and it's one that I think I might utilise. So a big shout out to Rob Chant and his inspiration in helping me design put a team track in and make the run round long enough and stuff. So yeah, I've certainly been influenced by his skills and abilities too. So really, as I said, it's taken a wee while to get this update out, but what I want to do is to keep refreshing my ideas and not be rushed in doing it and kind of just taking it at my own pace before I put any track on wood and take it from there. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in, much appreciated. All comments are welcome as far as the end-to-end design that I've shown you and the run round version that I've shown as well. All feedback's welcome, and at the end of this video I'll just stick up a little video of a Tamiya RC car 1 to 10 scale Volkswagen Golf body shell that a friend of mine at work asked if I could basically bring it back to life because he's wanting to give it to his son, and his son's going to get into RC racing as well. So young Ash was very much looking forward to getting this Golf, and I basically done it to their request, added some extra details to it and put some private regi plates on it as well. So a little bit of that at the end of this video, just for anybody that's interested in modelling. These are little side projects that we like doing as well. So yeah, thanks again for tuning in. I'll have more updates soon and some information that I'll gain from Model Rail Scotland and some goodies that I might get from there as well. So take care, all the best, and I'll be back to you soon.